this might be a hot take. I think there were people that were cut that shouldn't have been, and maybe Rusev should have been one of the people cut. Rusev is past his prime. Like, when he is on a show for me, if I wasn't reviewing, it would easily be fast forward material because I don't feel like Rusev matters in the scheme of things at all. Yo, everybody, let's talk about yesterday's Raw. Although, before we get to that, I guess we should maybe talk about some WWE news. Something we've talked about on this channel in recent weeks. Will we have no more Triple H booking? Well, I think we're stuck with him because we're seeing all these reports that TKO has signed Triple H to a multi-year contract. Although I will say some of the releases from last week in the WWE, the wrestlers, some of them were also on multi-year contracts. So that doesn't necessarily matter, but it seems as though we are stuck with Triple H, and we're going to have to play the game for quite a long more time. Seems like for multiple years stuck with Triple H's booking. Last night's show was a fine little show, though. Like, there are things they are trying to do with the booking. I can see what they are trying to do with the booking. We started with a Bloodline video, Roman and the Usos there discussing, with Roman wanting Jimmy and Jay's thoughts. This seems to be our face version of the Bloodline, and later in this video, Roman called them the first family, so I guess that's what they're supposed to be going by. Not exactly a new name to the wrestling world, but I don't hate it either. It's going to be hard for me to not refer to them as the Bloodline, though. But it seems as though they want to get away from that Bloodline name, and maybe it's because they're supposed to be becoming baby faces, or at least Roman and Jimmy are supposed to be. They still have Jay being the aggressive one in these days, because Jimmy wants to avoid Jacob Fatu, and Jay wants to try and teach Jacob how to have respect. So they have Jay kind of playing the more heelish character in this. But they are depicting Roman as someone who is listening to the Usos now. There's effort here. It's just I am a little sick of Bloodline and Bloodline adjacent storylines. I mean, it's been 6 years, for God's sake. So I only gave it a 1 on the fire scale. They really want it to be cinema again, but it's not quite there yet. But maybe with a slow enough build and a nice slow burn build for the first family, it can get back on that level. I'm going to try and be patient. If I'm going to keep reviewing these shows, I have to try and be patient. Sometimes when I'm reviewing shows, and you can see it on many of the shows I review, I lose patience because some things get too bad. But there was nothing on last night's Raw that was like offensively bad. Well, there's one thing I'll get to. Let's move along. Let's go to the Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker in-ring segment with these two coming together because Rollins is upset that Breakker took everything away from him over this past year. And Breakker is giving the reasons why he came out with Heyman, saying that Breakker and Bronson Reed had to stand there and listen to Rollins yap about the same thing over and over, and they had to fight all of his battles. And Rollins basically calling Breakker out for being young and trying his best to take advantage of things in the wrestling business. It's basically Rollins who has done it all and has been in that spot that Breakker is in right now. Also in this segment, there was a lot of references to Breakker being a Steiner. Did he call Big Papa Pump for a hookup and all of that during these promos? It was entertaining enough. I've just never, this entire Vision storyline, I have never been into it. It has never made me really care that much about it. And so that's my personal problem with it. I can see how others may have took this segment as better because it's a natural way to go. It should be Breakker versus Rollins next. That is the natural storytelling to do. Also for me though, they want Breakker to be the guy, and to me right now he's a good hand. He's a guy. he's also a heel, so it's hard for him to be the guy as a heel. But I don't think he's going to be the guy like some people in the company I think want him to be. But as a heel, he can be a force for years to come. I gave it a 1 on the fire scale just because I'm not totally invested in anything The Vision. But it was a entertaining enough segment. In the back, it was a quick segment, but I rated it the highest so far on this show, with Judgment Day attacking Stephanie Vaquer, taking her out, Roxanne being the one to crush her with a big equipment case. Maybe they are writing Stephanie off for a while, or this is why Stephanie's not going to be the next challenger for Liv. But Roxanne getting a big pop from the audience all night long on Raw was good to see. I gave it a 2 on the fire scale, even though it was short and sweet. Next up was a match between Penta and Rusev, a non-title match. Ethan Page at ringside. I think clearly they're setting up Ethan Page to be the challenger for Penta's title next. The match itself just never got into a entertaining gear to me. It was just a pretty quick match, not exciting. There was a commercial in the middle of it too, which always takes me out, especially if it's not a match I'm invested in. And it was a kind of an easy win for Penta in the end. I only gave the match a 0. It's on the fire scale though, technically, not the garbage scale, because I just was not into this match whatsoever. This might be a hot take. I think there were people that were cut that shouldn't have been. And maybe Rusev should have been one of the people cut. Rusev is past his prime. Like, when he is on a show for me, if I wasn't reviewing, it would easily be fast-forward material. Because I don't feel like Rusev matters in the scheme of things at all. So that's my controversial hot take for the day. Becky Lynch was out next, out to brag about her title, kind of having an open challenge, which I'm sick of open challenges, which you'll see when I get to Oba. Like, are they just taking away Trick's U.S. Open Challenge? And now everyone else can have open challenges since there's no more U.S. title open challenges. I like that Iyo Sky was the one to accept Becky Lynch's open challenge, and of course Becky having some derogatory things to say about Iyo. Becky doing her subdued Trump persona as her character does make me pop sometimes, I can't lie, because she just says absurd things. Becky did go to the old kind of contrived well of calling Iyo the Marty Jannetty of the tag team with Rhea Ripley. The irony in that is I feel like Rhea is actually the one that holds Iyo Sky back in that tag team, because, whether it's Rhea doing her whining online and behind the scenes, or whether it really is creative, but they seem to always have to push Rhea Ripley. And I think in doing so, they stalled the Iyo Sky Asuka feud, and now Kairi Sane's not a part of it anymore, and I do feel like they wasted a lot of our time with that. So just for them wasting our time alone, I couldn't give this Becky Lynch and Iyo Sky segment too high of a rating. But I did enjoy the Becky part of it. She was entertaining. I gave it a 1 on the fire scale. The match itself for the Intercontinental title was fine. It was like the only match last night that actually did kick it into another gear. So that was good. And Asuka being the one to cost Iyo the match means that feud is going to continue. There will be some sort of payoff, but without Kairi being a part of the payoff, it does take away some excitement for me. It's disappointing because it's like one of the only long-term storylines going on in all of the WWE. But the match, I gave it a 2 on the fire scale. Joe Hendry is a part of Raw doing his concert. It didn't really hit for me, I'm not gonna lie. The Joe Hendry shtick, it's stale already. It had its moments in TNA a lot. I feel like it was actually better in TNA than it ever was in NXT. And this little concert wasn't really that creative. He had some words to say against Logan Paul, how Logan Paul should be fired, which brought out Logan Paul and Austin Theory to mess up his concert set, and then it was the Street Profits out to make a save. This was like the first thing of the night that kind of felt like it was thrown together for me. So I actually put this on the garbage scale. Only a 0 though, instead of the negatives. But yeah, I'm fine with the Street Profits being the tag team challengers for Logan Paul and Austin Theory, but like it's kind of just there. There's no real effort or creativity behind it. And Joe Hendry's concert was kind of stupid. The next match was El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio. Listen, I do not give a single fuck about any of the Americano stuff going on anymore. For a moment in time, I was a little entertained by it, but it's one of those stories that I don't think should still be going on. But they probably sell merch on masks and whatnot. I'm sure that's the only reason TKO wants the storyline to be stretched out, because anything that sells a little bit of money, that's all they care about. But I gave 0 fucks about this match because I give 0 fucks about any of the Americano stuff. I did put it on the fire scale, but only a 0 because I just was not into the match. We had an Asuka video package without Kairi Sane, unfortunately, blaming Iyo Sky for being her biggest mistake because Sky is her biggest failure, failed the whole family, and now both Iyo and Asuka are alone, so they are referencing that Kairi is not there. Asuka saying that nothing will stop her from destroying Sky at Backlash, so we have a match set for Backlash at least to have some sort of payoff to this feud, but the feud's just lost its luster now. Like, I'm glad it was a long-term storyline, but at the end of the day, they kind of wasted our time. They stretched it too long. It should have been a match for WrestleMania. I gave it a 1 on the fire scale, but I think they've done the storyline a disservice with Kairi Sane no longer being a part of it, and I don't know if it's good for either woman now. The next thing is what pissed me off. So we have Oba Femi squashing Grayson Waller, whatever. Then Oba's big mic work is that he's going to have an open challenge. Open challenges going forward. If you want to climb the mountain, you can go against Oba Femi. And it's just like, where's the creativity? We just had the U.S. title open challenges for months and months. Trick puts an end to that because it fits his character. In this very same episode, we have Becky Lynch having an open challenge, and now we're going to have Oba Femi doing open challenges. This is an example of the complete lack of creativity in Triple H's booking team. I gave this a -3 on the garbage scale because it is giving me feed me more vibes. Just feed me more something that didn't work for a past big superstar. And I don't think that superstar Ryback was on Oba Femi's level. And I don't think this is like too bad for Oba Femi. I feel like it's to give him something to do until they can come up with bigger matches for him. And I get that. But it doesn't mean I have to like it. It doesn't mean I have to sit here and accept it. That there is just no creativity behind the scenes in any of these big wrestling companies. And it gets old. I'm sick of it. Like, this is their next big star. In the Attitude Era, all the big stars would have constant storylines. Constant storylines. No need to stall having open challenges that mean nothing. So maybe I'm being too dramatic about it. I don't know. Maybe it's not as bad of a thing as I'm saying. But for this show and for future shows, it's just going to be one of those things that's like, okay, this is a thing happening. Is it really pushing Oba Femi to another level? No, it's not. Next match was Bayley and Lyra Valkyrie versus Roxanne and Rodriguez from Judgment Day. Another fine little match. Another match that didn't make it to the next level, which is how I felt like most matches on Raw last night were. The fans were so happy for Roxanne, though, and for popping so much for Roxanne, though. It did make it more entertaining. But I just gave it a 1 on the fire scale because, like, most of the matches last night didn't make me so invested, other than Becky and Iyo that got into it a little bit in the middle of that match. The last segment was pretty good, though. Roman Reigns coming out, the crowd loves him. He wanted to be acknowledged as the champion. He says he made the title relevant again. Now you can respect the title. That brought out Jacob Fatu to interrupt. Fatu saying he didn't need time to think about it. He didn't need a week to think about it. He always knew what he was going to do. He says he needs the title and that Roman Reigns doesn't know what it's like to be like him. Called out Roman that when the bloodline was running things, Jacob was foaming at the mouth to be a part of it, but he never got the phone call from Roman. It took Solo Sikoa to call him. Reigns tried to say that he still signed off on it. I don't really know why that had to be a part of this segment. I guess it's to show us that Roman still runs the first family. But what this segment did well is it made Fatu look like a viable challenger for Roman. Because Roman is saying that Fatu never earned an opportunity for the title. Fatu didn't want to hear it. Got Roman in a Tongan death grip. Roman got out of it at first. Fatu did it again. And he kind of left Roman laying. So he had to basically kind of dominate the champion here a little bit to show us that he is actually a force that can contend with Roman. And clearly they want Roman and the Usos right now to be faces. So I have seen people saying this is Jacob Fatu going heel. But I kind of hope that they keep it more gray. Because to me, Jacob Fatu has always had this realism to him. The way he talks in his promos, the way he's talking about this title, how it's going to be for his family. And that's why he needs this title. He needs this opportunity. So I do hope they keep it gray. But I thought this was a good segment to look so that Jacob can look dangerous going into this title match with Roman. I actually gave it a 3 on the fire scale, because they did what they had to do to make Jacob look good in this segment. So yeah, I guess a good ending to Raw. I still overall gave the show a 1 on the fire scale, which is the same as last week, even though I felt like there was more effort into the storylines. Well, some of the storylines this week, probably because Backlash is so close, I think. Stuff like the Oba thing brought down my rating for it, or it could have actually probably been a 2 this week. But yeah, there's just lazy ideas on Triple H's booking team, I feel like. But Raw has its momentum. I feel like since right before WrestleMania, Raw is better set up than SmackDown is after WrestleMania. I feel like there are more things, more possibilities set up on Raw than on SmackDown. But maybe this week's SmackDown will be better than I felt this past week's SmackDown was.